し、みんなの生きてた時のこと、たくさん思い出してあげて、それだけで生きててよかった。
No shot. No shot. They're already dropping people with 2 Year Eternity. I can't. Alright, this show has a problem. Or better yet, I have a problem with 2 Year Eternity, okay? This killing people to kill them shit has to stop. So far, 2 episodes of 2 Year Eternity has come out, and instead of reviewing each individual episode like I'm doing with Chainsaw Man, I'm just going to talk about an issue that I have with the show, and then I'll go with reviewing individual episodes, okay? Let me just say, I love 2 Year Eternity. It's one of my favorite new gen shows out there. Definitely has flaws, even outside of that poor consistency with the quality of the animation. If you guys watched last season, you know what I'm talking about. It's more so based on how the story carries itself, especially when it comes to the deaths, man. And it's really the way that it handles life and death, okay? There are series that are out there that just kills characters to kill them, and 2 Year Eternity is definitely one of them. If you aren't caught up with the series, I click off the video because there will be spoilers. Actually, you probably already been spoiled with the little intro in the video. Sorry about that. But look, we got everybody out. Look, Brains Base, Oima, y'all gotta get the tonality of the series down, man. It's not that it's super inconsistent, it's really that it's just not a match, period, when these characters dying. The first season, okay, was more forgiving because the entire first season all happened within a short period of time. It was like 5 years, 10 years maybe, and that's just a guess. It could even be shorter. So what do I mean exactly? We have a damn near immortal being who will outlive every character that we see. As a viewer, you should know that time is nothing to him, so the characters are going to die with time, obviously. But the first season couldn't really afford to really delve into that super early because we had to establish his growth, and he had a lot of traumatic experiences to grow from. He's lost quite a bit in a short stint of consciousness, and we've seen every single step. Every character he's turned into has passed, even my favorites, but no, that's not what I'm complaining about. All of that is okay. Characters dying should be a part of someone's story who never really dies. My issue is how they handle these deaths, and it goes back to the tone, okay? It just doesn't make sense in this show. It's too sad when the characters die because the story sets these characters up to die. So how can you make the tone super sad when you're basically telling the character, you're telling us that these characters are going to die? Like, why should we care? Why should we shed a tear? Why should we cry? Okay? And that's what the tone is. It's trying to make us cry. It's trying to tear jerk us. Why? Why? It hasn't earned that. It's telling us that these niggas are going to die. Alright, and the reason I say this is because in our latest episode of 2 Year Eternity, basically tells us again straight up, hey, these niggas are dying. Sorry, not sorry. They killed Tonari in the last episode. She got one shot by the tumors. Everything was sad. The music, this nigga crying in the background, Fushi not knowing who either of these people are, her telling him how to handle death and how to go about life, all these different shit. It's all so sad, right? That tone doesn't match the reality of this show. It just doesn't. Tonari essentially died for Fushi. Okay, she set herself, like, she's the worst example of all of them. Tonari set herself up to die for Fushi. Okay, so he could be better off. Alright, she spent her entire life to set Fushi up, and that's just my issue. Okay, the plot does not match the tone. If you got characters that are setting themselves up to be a part of this immortal being's harem that he could turn into, okay, harem's a stretch, that he could turn into, then why are we trying to make it sad? All of these characters are plot devices. No Name Nigga, March, Perona, Gugu, Piorin, they all existed for Fushi's growth. None of these characters were their own. You can make an argument for Gugu, but none of the other characters really stand by themselves. Just because they give you a side story doesn't mean that they are not just plot devices. Their side story had very, very little effect on the plot as a whole because the plot is basically Fushi's growth. They cannot stand on their own. And that's not an issue in itself. It's only an issue when you try to constantly make the deaths sad. Now look, I'm not gonna lie. Take No Name Nigga away, March, Gugu, Piorin, all their deaths hit me hard. Even fucking Perona, cause that was just fucked up. Why? Because the story set them up to be integral parts of Fushi's growth, and he lost them and he felt that hurt, so we felt that hurt. He felt it with Perona too, but obviously they didn't care about giving her flowers, even though she's the realest nigga for real. She died doing everything that she can for March. But yeah, this first season was basically Fushi gaining humanity. So last season, it was kind of excusable. Is it earned? Super debatable. Twitter exploded in sadness when No Name Nigga died, but why? You don't even know the character. I feel with the rest of the characters, minus maybe Piorin, they gave them just enough screen time to where they could justify the sadness of the deaths. And obviously Piorin, she had super screen time. So yeah, it was really sad when she died. Because it's like a mom to Fushi. Even then, it was a stretch, okay? as far as the other characters, not Bjorn. It's a stretch to say, that they'd earn the sadness. But, I mostly felt bad because March was a kid and Gugu's life was a little bit too unfair. But regardless, it still managed to have its tone set without it feeling super duper cheap and just trying to tear jerk the audience like they did with the first episode. But this new season, they take an established character and make her life's goal to be useful to Fushi by subjecting her body to shit like poison and all this. No legacy. She was just a chick that Fushi met, and the show really hasn't really established anything with her outside of a little bit of the island and shit like that. And I get it. They kind of had to get her in there. Fushi has advanced generations. Deaths are not how he grows anymore. And there's been no solution to stop the tumors from killing people that he's directly involved in. He's not a part of the solution when it comes to killing those things. Alright, Tonari's death has no real impact. So why is it focused on for basically an entire half episode? Hell, next episode is about this bitch's descendants. Her death is more impactful than any in the series, and we are told to hate her. No sad music with her, okay? And then Bjorn is coming back eventually, but why should we care when she would just die for fun again? Whatever. Am I making sense, man? Stop making deaths this thing that viewers should focus on and get on with the story. Y'all don't care about the characters, so why should we care? It's been established that time can advance past several lifetimes. So, I don't know. Maybe you guys see it differently. I just dislike the direction of how the characters are handled. Even Hayase's granddaughter is really odd how there was so much time focused on her, and then, not only did she die, but her kids died. Alright, it's just kind of odd. Now, I do get that they had to give her some type of screen time to explain the reincarnation and will and obsession, but it's a little bit much. But, Tonari being hyped up in episode 1 just for her to get knocked off literally one shot is just crazy to me. Other notes on the episode 2, they really tried to get Fushi in prison. Didn't like that conversation at all.
早瀬にはある望みがありました。それは守護団の活動とは別の秘密の目的で我々親子の間でのみ共有されてきました。フシ、私はあなたとの子供が欲しいです。
Anyways, that's the vid. This already got too long. From here on out, I'll do episode reviews of the show as they come out, just like with Chainsaw Man. So if you like To Your Eternity, then look out for that. Thanks, babe. See y'all later. Oh yeah, subscribe.